pictures of people burning their Nike trainers, including some Marines, apparently, in protest to your protest. What's the reaction?
Well, there's two sides to every story. There's a group called Veterans for Kaepernick, and they are in very much support of Kaepernick, and they say that what they are actually fighting for was the right for him to be able to sit or kneel, or stand. You're going to see a lot of people from the right, from a certain demographic that pretty much want Kaepernick to just be punished by any way possible. But so the fact that Nike is actually going to use him as an endorsement, as the face of their product, they're very upset by it. And Nike made a business decision. Nike looked at their demographic and they said, who's the ones that are out here buying Jordans and buying LeBrons and, looking at who's going to wear our apparel. It's not the Make America Great Again crowd. So they made a choice. And that's why you're seeing one side, give the praises while the other side is really condemning.
So what you're saying is they're not actually being that political. They're just being, quite sensible in business terms.
Yes, it's a business move, and it's a very good business move on the part of Nike. Because, like I said, the Make America Great crowd again that's not their demographic. But for the most part, it's interesting seeing the people who, now want to boycott Nike, and they're burning their shoes that they already paid for, but they're burning their shoes thinking that it's going to make a dent in Nike's profits. And Nike is worldwide; they're not just an American product. But I really take my hat off to Nike. I was able to really interview a lot of different athletes in my book, We Matter, as you mentioned, Athletes and Activism. And we're talking about activism. You're seeing this new wave of athletes being able to take a stand and have the courage to be able to take a stand for what they believe in. Stand up and say that, what they're seeing is not right, whether it's the actions of President Trump, whether it's police brutality, whether it's the killings of unarmed black men at the hands of the taking a stand for it, and I have to commend them for it.
How bad is the tension now between the players and the fans? And have you ever seen anything like it?
Well, it's certain fans. Certain fans, love what the players are doing. I've participated in panel discussions and town halls, and you see fans thanking players for speaking up for people who don't have a voice for themselves. When an athlete speaks up and says that there's a problem with police brutality, or speaks about a different murder, whether it's Trayvon Martin or Eric Gardner or Terrence Crutcher or Freddie Gray, there's a whole demographic of people who they can shout it to the mountaintops, but nobody will hear them. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like when an athlete hears, they hear an athlete saying it, makes news. I got a chance to interview the family members of some of the victims, and Javaris Fulton in particular. He said that when Trayvon Martin was first killed, they couldn't get any news people to even cover the story. But then once you saw LeBron and Dwayne Wade and everybody, making a statement about it and saying how they're personally affected, then you have all these fans that looked and they say, well, wait a minute, what is this that has LeBron James and Dwayne Wade all riled up? So that's the power of athletes using their voice, and I hope they continue to do so.
Despite America's sort of long history of racial divisions and tribal politics, the sports arena used to be one of those areas where politics was put aside. But now politics has entered that arena with a vengeance, hasn't it?
Well, I would say that politics has always been there. I mean, you're looking from Jesse Owens to when he defeated the Nazi regime and the thought that black people wouldn't be able to defeat the Germans in a race. When you look at John Carlos, what I also had an opportunity to interview for my book, doing the Black Power salute in the 1968 Olympics. I mean, that was monumental. Of course, you look at Muhammad Ali and Jim Brown and Bill Russell, so you can keep going. So there's a history of athletes using their voices, as platforms and being able to speak about things that are going on in society, and they have such a special voice. I mean, when I was interviewing Bill Russell and Kareem, all the criticism that happens that's going on right now, it happened to them back then. Right. But that didn't stop them from using their voice, and that's why they're special. Okay, and in 10 seconds, what's your message to President Trump in all this? Oh, well, it's not going to stop. I mean, he could jump up and down as much as he wants to and pound his fist and thinks that because, the athletes are saying something that he doesn't agree with, that he can make them stop. It's not going to stop.